It's weird. It's nice. It's just such an odd studio space.
Yeah, it's simple now.
It's simple. Very simple.
We've gone simple.
Yeah, we've gone simple.
We don't need all that other shit.
You ready to roll it?
Oh, we're already rolling.
Well, let's do it, man.
We're doing it live.
We'll do it live.
That's right.
Fuck it. What's up, Sonny? How are you, man?
Oh, you know.
Kind of going a little renegade here.
Yeah, how am I?
Gorilla.
I don't know how to answer that question. How am I? I've been off of social media for a couple of years.
Yeah, I know that. I noticed you peeked your head back on Instagram.
Yeah, I just kind of peeked back on. No Facebook, but I'm back on Instagram.
Yeah.
At Sonny Grapples.
And, little shameless plug. No big deal.
What is yours? At Uncle Kevin.
Coach Kevin BJJ.
Yeah, I was just tired of the bullshit, man. I felt like I needed a break, and honestly, it was the best thing for me. You know,
I do it for my business, and then I just judge everyone.
Yeah.
Like quietly judging from afar everybody's bullshit.
But yeah, you know, like I just needed that break, and in that 2-year period, I just kind of took a lot of time for myself, and you know, actually made a lot of changes in my life, brother.
I can tell, Sonny. You look very, very good. I can say this.
I quit smoking weed.
Yeah, I honestly have cut back a lot.
Which is a very odd thing to say, but yeah, I don't smoke weed anymore. I was on some other medications and I'm no longer on. And
yeah, man.
Yeah, things are just better now, and I'm less angry.
You know what, Sonny? I'm not gonna say this, but I love Fat Sonny, and you're not quite Fat Sonny yet.
I'm bringing him back.
You're bringing him back. You know, Fat Sonny is always happy. Always got a smile on his face. Always just goes with the flow.
I've really been trying to get slimmed down again because I did gain a little bit of weight.
Hey, Kara, Engineer Kara, you want to come in? Come on, Kara, we need you. No. You sure you want to Google something for us?
Why are you opening the door? What are you doing?
I didn't know you were starting.
Get out. Stay out.
Get out, Kara. We come take over her
We
house.
don't need you.
We don't need you anymore. Her spare bedroom.
But yeah, so I gained a little bit of weight when I'm trying to lose it. I'm about 235 right now.
But you're not. I mean,
I'm not like
Fat
I was.
Sonny. Yeah,
no,
Fat Sonny.
Fat Sonny was like
huge.
280, almost 200
This
pounds.
I like this guy. You could lose 10, 15 pounds.
Yeah.
Just don't go crazy and lose all that weight again.
It's great though, because 235 Sonny can handle dudes in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
you can just kind of like roll like a koala bear.
Just let dudes get on top.
There is. I'm gonna just go out there and put it out there. There is a direct correlation between your weight distribution and the amount of anxiety I feel coming from you as we go up and down. I feel like as we're at this
I don't know that there is
here.
a correlation because correlation suggests causation or something, but I don't know that there's actually a correlation between my weight and my anxiety, but I do think that I'm in a better place mentally now.
I'm going to say there's a correlation because I notice it.
Honestly, I think the real correlation is just the time that I took for myself.
Yeah.
I think everybody needs to do that at some point. They need to just back up, kind of reevaluate their life and figure out what's going on and what makes you happy.
No, dude, it's so important. So important. You can't... One thing I've learned throughout my chaotic life is that... if you're not taking time for yourself and your own healing, then you're not doing anything. You might as well just not do anything because nothing else is going to be right until you're happy with yourself. And then you go from that outward. That's just my opinion on things.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that was sort of driving my unhappiness was this was jiu-jitsu in a way, you know, and I don't know if it was jiu-jitsu, but I think it was the way that I was interacting with jiu-jitsu in the jiu-jitsu world and everything. And now that I'm just kind of focused on my business and running my gym and just dealing and interacting with my students without worrying about all the outside bullshit, I think it's become a lot more fun.
Well, what in particular is it? Was it the business side of the art that is becoming?
It can be.
As a business owner, because I am starting to experience that a little bit. I'm 2 years into my foray as a gym owner. And it's starting to get a little taxing.
Well, one of the things that has always bothered me is it seems like every year or every 6 months maybe we would get a student who would just be a real pain in the ass.
Right.
And whether it be, it's funny. It's always the students you give breaks to. I don't know if you.
Oh
noticed
my
that.
God, dude! The honeymoon is starting to get over for me too, and it's absolutely. It's always the ones that you do the most for
That just don't appreciate it, and
And they make this scenario where you don't love them, and it's like, how can like you don't pay to train
do enough
here.
for them. Yeah.
How can you possibly draw those conclusions? I'm getting to that point.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
It's like
Some things never change.
I don't do anything for you except let you train for free.
Right, exactly.
Maybe even give you a
Yeah.
position of power in the gym where you're teaching or something like that.
Give you this amazing academy where you learn the beautiful
yeah.
art of jiu-jitsu that, by the way, I created. But hey, big deal.
So,
sorry,
yeah,
I abused you and didn't appreciate you.
It's so true, man. It's so true. So yeah, I don't deal with those people anymore. They're gone fast now. When I start to feel that sort of energy coming from somebody, they're gone.
Yeah, I'm getting close to that point.
And it's not necessarily because I'll kick them out, but I'll make their existence so unbearable that they'll want to quit.
Well, the thing that I'm starting
good
to find
employer.
with people of that mindset or that ilk, I guess you could say, is that they just weed themselves out. They get to a point to where they make themselves so miserable, and what you do is you just ignore them. And when you ignore them, they realize that either A, they're going to change and forget about it, or B, all they want is attention. So when you don't give it to them, then they say, okay, I'm just going to leave and go somewhere else. And then you go, geez, I'm so sorry you left. Please, I wish the best for you, but inwardly I'm like, good luck. Go annoy somebody else for a little bit.
Well, just to make it a little bit more clear as to what we're talking about, so that maybe other people can kind of relate. Take the Danaher Death Squad, right?
Right.
There was a big unit, they were a unit, I should say, and now they've kind of broken off, and Gordon's gone one way, and then there's B team, and there's all kinds of drama online with those guys, and that kind of stuff people don't realize, but that kind of stuff happens with every gym. It's not them, it's not something that's unique to those guys, and how high up they are, because whether you're out there winning competitions or you might not even be competing, but yeah, gyms have those drama-filled situations all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I put a post on Facebook the other day just because, whatever, I thought it was funny. And I said something like, if you get time to worry about your haters and like quote unquote, then you're not really working hard enough. And I don't mean that to be all like profound. I kind of did just kind of shut some fucking idiots up. But you just get so irritated reading everybody's bullshit, which I kind of do fondly sometimes. I can't help myself. But it's the same thing. Like, people they can't help themselves. They either get annoyed with the fact that they are not as successful as someone else, or they feel like they are not being appreciated for the great, delicate, unique flower that they are. And at a certain point, you're just like, dude, like, if you don't like it, just go somewhere else.
No, I'm with you 100%. So yeah, that's something that I've done, which is basically I just don't deal with those people anymore. And I've got a really, really good group of people at the gym now. Like the sort of unit that we have right now, it's fantastic. I got guys that are teaching in the morning for me. Just an amazing group of people.
I'm getting to that point. It's hard because I'm needy. I myself am needy, and what I'm needy of is self-approval. I need to be liked and loved by everybody, and I can't help myself. I wish it wasn't such a huge.
You'll get over
drive.
that. Trust me.
I am getting over that.
How old are you again?
Old enough that I should have gotten over that 15, 20 years ago. I'm 40.
Well, because I'm saying
46 now.
46. All right. Yeah. So I just turned 50 this year.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I quit smoking weed is because after I turned 50, I got the flu.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And I was like,
yeah. Right.
So I was like, I don't need this in my life. And and a few other things happened, more emotionally, and it just made me realize I'm too old to give a shit.
Yeah.
And you will. I swear you will.
I'm getting there.
You will get to a point. It may be a couple more years or whatever, but you'll get to a point where you do not care what people think of you.
I'm getting to that point very, very fastly as my business is growing. Because you get to the point when you realize, hey, yeah, I don't want to make any of my customers feel unwanted, unquestionably. Right. I'm running a business. I will go above and beyond to make sure that you feel wanted in my space. But when I recognize that it's just not worth my time and effort to spend on making you feel welcome if you were just a bad person or unavailable or unwilling to conform to figure out enough or so needy that you need so much of my time. It's just not worth it financially. It's not worth it for me to waste this much time and energy on one person when I have an entire room full of people that are like, hey, like Coach Kevin, like you're pretty cool. Like you run a good business here. You treat everyone fairly. Like this guy's a little bit nuts. So it's like, I don't really need your money. In the beginning, I did. In the beginning, I needed everybody's money, so I would cater to all their needs. And now it's like,
it's funny. I have a friend in Connecticut who runs a gym who shall remain nameless. He's a very good friend, but he's kind of going through this as well because
I know who he is. We don't have to say his name.
I don't know that you do. I don't know that you
Williamson?
do know this guy, huh?
Is it Williamson?
No.
No.
Who?
Jim Williamson. Is
No, that's an ex-student.
Oh, who's the guy that owns the gym in? Never mind. We'll talk about it.
Well,
Anyway.
So so this guy he came up under a belt system where they would never put stripes on belts, right? They just would have like white belt, and then you'd be a white belt for however long you're a white belt, and then boom, you're a blue belt.
Right.
You'd be a blue belt for maybe a couple years.
Kind of old school.
And you get a purple belt, but they wouldn't do stripes. Well, I think he kind of realized that doing stripes was a good motivational tool for people that are sort of, because people are like that. People want to see that they're progressing.
Well, it's a 2-3 year turnaround sometimes between belts.
Right.
That's a long time to not get any acknowledgement.
Exactly. So he decided that he wanted to start doing that and putting stripes on belts. And he had this sort of like core group of students that were totally against it. And they were like, oh, you're selling out. And it's like, bro, no, he's not. He's just doing something that he thinks is going to be good for the business.
Right.
It doesn't, what does it really matter?
Doesn't change the quality of jiu-jitsu.
Exactly.
Doesn't change anything about any
And
of
I
the...
think some of these guys are under the impression that if you're someone who has a stripe on your belt, that you're somehow not as good as them.
Right.
And it's like, buddy, I know some guys that have stripes on their belts that'll come down there and whoop your
Well,
monkey ass.
shit, I rolled with this purple belt Kyle yesterday that I taught as a white belt. And I'm fat and disgusting and out of shape and don't give a fuck about anything. But, he smoked me. Subbed me 3 times in a row, legit. Not even holy shit. I couldn't, had no excuse nothing to do with it. So it's the whole idea, my overall jiu-jitsu knowledge is far superior to him just from mat time and times teaching and all that stuff like that. But just doesn't mean he's not an absolute savage.
Right.
That knows
But
enough
just
to kick
the
my ass.
act of putting a stripe on a belt is not going to all of a sudden diminish your skill level.
No.
And these guys are just kind of stuck in that mode where they don't understand that, look, there are people in the world that need that sort of affirmation in between the 2 or 3 years that you might be sitting at blue belt or at purple belt.
Yeah, and it's stupid. Listen to me, everyone out there that is taking a class in a jiu-jitsu gym right now. You have to understand this, that yes, not all of us, not everyone that steps into a jiu-jitsu room is going to be an absolute savage that doesn't need any recognition, that is there just because they love the pure joy of the grind and the competitive nature, and they want to fight and grind and to the end, the whole way through. That's not what everyone in the gym that comes to a jiu-jitsu gym is there for. There are some people there that just want to enjoy jiu-jitsu and get a little bit better and come for the self-gratification.
And the community.
And the community comes from it. And if they are a little bit softer than you are, then we give them a stripe because they need it. And by the way, we need them to pay the bill so that you have a gym to train at. End of story.
100%.
100%. If you don't understand that and you don't realize the business attributes of it, then fuck off.
Right. That's what I told him. I was like, look, because that's the other thing. My buddy, he's really nice. He's a savage black belt, but he's too nice.
Right.
And he's not willing to say these things that need to be heard sometimes. And it's like, I would just tell them, you don't like it, get the fuck out, because this is what we're doing.
Right.
And if you think that all of a sudden that we're going to be lesser of a gym because we're putting stripes on belts, you kiss my ass.
Yeah, and it's funny. I always get back to Matt when I think about things like that. Matt's a very non-confrontational person when it comes to things like that. He will just allow things to take their own course. Believe me, the person that is unhappy, if you do not cater to them, if you do not give in to
Arroyo,
their... Yeah, Matt Arroyo. He owns Gracie Tampa South. If you do not give in to them, if you do not give them the attention they require, one of two things will happen. They will shut up and fall in line because they realize they're not getting the stimulus that they need out of it, or they will quit and leave on their own so the problem is solved and someone else will come in and take their place because you run a good business.
Right.
That's it. And you can have it both ways. I don't care. I hate that shit. Like, oh, you're diluting the art. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Purple belt, shut the fuck up. Right? Anyone that wants to say that my art is diluted or Sonny Parlin's art is diluted, you can kiss my ass. We might not be able to break you anymore because we're old and fat and broken. But I got a couple brown belts that are fucking up and coming studs that will push your shit in anytime you want. That was a little much. I apologize for the kids at home.
By the way, speaking of stud, so I have this student Dylan Cameron.
Dylan's the man.
Oh my God, he is out there killing it, man. He's ranked number 1 in ADCC Open in the world at his weight class.
He's the man.
What 135?
He's the man.
And when he went out and I think he did the Dallas ADCC Open, he beat out a Danaher guy for first place.
Yeah, he's the man. Yeah, he's freaking Dylan's impressive. I watched him in that last Zapatero. He was submission hunting all the time. Man.
Yeah, and so we got the trials coming up in a few weeks or whatever it is. I think
October-ish.
6 weeks, something like that. Yeah. So I'm looking.
You gonna go up for that?
Yep, I'm gonna go up for that.
I'm coming too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, let's go do it.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, I'll see you there. Maybe there will be a on-premise Old Man Grappling Hour show.
No, maybe. I mean, this is all we need.
On location. I know. All we need is a phone.
All we need is a cell phone.
And this thing. We can do it.
What is that called again? A stand.
Well, yeah, that thing.
That thing.
Tripod.
These microphones and...
We'll do it Matt's side.
Yeah, we'll do it live.
Just to piss off Flow Grappling.
But yeah, so yeah, man, just the perfect example is Dylan. You know, Dylan came up under me. He was already a really, really good wrestler. But, you know, I gave him his white belt all the way up through what he has now, which is he's a brown belt. And, he's a beast. And, you know, pretty much he just competes all the time. Right. And he does a little bit of cross training. And, dude, he's just a savage. And we put stripes on belts.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. That's not very rarely. I mean, but the thing about the stripes on the belts, that's really just one symptom of the overall disease, which is people that like to play this world of like, well, like, you're in the dojo because you do this, this, and this, or like your quality is not this and this because you want to be successful as a business owner and you sell out. Fuck all that shit, dude.
Yeah, people who will refer to you as a sellout. Yeah, those people are obviously not people who run a business.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, they're upset because they're not successful. I don't know what to fucking tell you. Sorry. But anyway.
So what else is going on?
So I started doing ketamine treatment. That's insane. Anybody knows what it is?
You said it was a horse tranquilizer. I've never heard of it, but that makes sense because you are a horse.
I am a horse.
So, what is this for? What is this all about?
Ketamine is it's designed to help. I thought I was bipolar for a while. I've been seeing a counselor for a little bit and talking about my mental health issues and shit like that for quite some time now. And my counselor, who is not an MD but is a certified counselor, has been saying for years that she thinks I'm bipolar, that I need to go see a psychiatrist and speak to a psychiatrist. Well, I went to a psychiatrist and got examined. And he told me he did not think I was bipolar. He said I showed some symptoms of bipolar too, but I also showed significant symptoms of PTSD and some traumatic brain injuries, which we all know I've been hit in the head a million fucking times. So he said based upon that, the symptoms of the two are so similar that he didn't think I should be medicated. He also suggested that I try ketamine therapy, which is something kind of new that has been kicked into the market right now recently. And ketamine therapy is an hallucinogenic experience.
Really?
Yeah, ketamine is if people at home know what ketamine is. It's a street drug that was kind of like fashioned as a street drug.
You think I would know, but I've never heard of it.
Anyway, so they've been doing quite a bit of testing on it. There's been a great deal of results, positive results on the administering of ketamine treatment to help with depression, PTSD, TBIs. So I got prescribed 6 sessions. And dude, Like, it is fucking insane. Dude,
Really?
I'm
Like a
telling
mushroom
you,
trip or something?
like, it's very similar to psilocybin mescaline trip. They give you an IV that drips. It's in a controlled environment with a doctor, and you got a nurse, and they put like noise canceling headphones on you and an eye mask so you don't see anything, or you can look at the bright like lights or whatever, like the red lights in the room and shit, in a nice comfy chair. They give you the IV drip with the ketamine, and dude, it takes about 5-10 minutes to hit you, and I am telling you, like, I am on another planet. And, like, I am not a rookie to hallucinogenics, by the way.
Really?
I did my share of...
That's very interesting.
But what it does is, so it lasts for about 45 minutes. Then you spend about another 15 minutes recovering. And then for about 2 hours later, like, you can't drive home. You're a little bit kind of, like, woozy. But then you come right out of it. Dude, I'm telling you, man.
And what is the long-term result that they're hoping to achieve?
There's two things. There's the actual mental health physiological process, which is you just going into this hypersensitive, hyper-reflective world of a hallucinogenic realm. And you go back and you think about some of the things that have happened in your past and some of the things that are stressful to you, some of the things that caused trauma, and you just kind of rework them through your brain and come out with a little bit better outlook on it. And there's also some science that says that it actually works on the brain in an actual, physical way. It actually goes in there and rewires the brain to start thinking about things, with the serotonin or whatever the hell, blah, blah, blah it does, but it makes you start to think about things in another way, in an actual physical way, more than just the psychological way where you go in and rewire it. I mean, I've done 4 sessions so far. I did 3 at one rate. At the third one, they bumped up the juice a little bit, gave me a little bit more.
And are you liking it? Are you enjoying it?
I love it.
Do you feel better in general after doing it?
I'm telling you, I mean, a bunch of things have changed. I finally have a good business now. I'm making some money. You know what I mean? Things are going well for me on that realm, so that's pretty cool. But I'm also at a point where, I mean, it's insane how much better, how much more positive my outlook is on things. And I'm still deal with stress. Like, I still have stress in my life, but it's just the way in which I process it, the way in which I don't allow it to run me and ruin everything for me. It's pretty amazing. I really think it's something that's changing my life. I mean, I'm depressed, man. I was suicidal.
Really?
Like, oh yeah, horrible.
Well, that's not good.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, for a long time.
I'm glad that it's working.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, if the folks at home, if you ever want to give it a shot, it ain't cheap. It's a little expensive. It's pretty.
You've been making some changes too, because I think one of the last times we spoke on the phone, you told me that you bought something. I was like, really?
I mean,
I was like, really?
I was holding out on buying a weapon, a handgun. And then I finally realized the fact that it's just going to have to be a part of life. Like it or love it, however you agree or disagree with carrying guns, like, guns are a part
You live in Florida.
Yeah, guns are a part of the world we live in. So I bought a little gun. And I've been doing lessons with this Navy SEAL that comes down, and we kind of, actually, it's pretty cool. We do this like 3.
Do I know him?
No, he lives in California.
Oh, okay.
San Diego, I think it is. And he flies
What did you
out
get?
here. I got a little Sig Sauer.
Really?
Yeah,
Which one?
The P...
365?
The big one.
Oh, the P320.
320, like the original one.
All right.
I need a concealed. You can convert that to a concealed. I had no idea how cheap guns were.
What's that?
I had no idea how cheap
Oh,
guns
yeah. Well, it depends. I mean,
yeah, but
there are guns that cost $7,000.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you can buy a really nice concealed gun for $500.
A nice carry handgun. Yeah, you can do it for $600.
Yeah, you can doll it up and all that shit, but you can buy one that can put in your pocket for $600-700.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I need to go get me a little concealed something.
I actually, I only have one 6 Hour handgun, and I have the P365 X Macro, and it's basically the same width and height of, say, like a 320, but it's thinner.
Yeah.
And makes it easier to conceal. and I really enjoy it. You know, I think it's great.
You're a whatchamacallit guy. You like
Glocks.
Glocks, right?
Yeah,
Glock guy.
I'm a big fan. I love the Glock 19. I love it so much. I have two.
Yeah. I actually had a client of mine that wanted to train me a Glock 19 for some private lessons.
See, the hard part with finding a carry gun, right? At least for me, was that there's this balance. You've got to find a gun that you can carry easily, that makes so you're not uncomfortable carrying it, and you have to find a gun that you can shoot, right? That you want to be accurate with it. I think you should be accurate with it up to 15 yards, and if you have both of those worlds, then you're doing well. And the SIG for me, the SIG X Macro is that gun. I love my Glock 19, but it's very bulky to carry inside the waistband. Now, I know a lot of guys carry the Glock 19. In fact, I think it's one of the most carried guns. But for me, I'm always wearing these gym shorts, you know, and it's just not comfortable for me to carry a gun.
The fanny pack?
Yeah, you can do fanny pack carry, but the problem with fanny pack carry is
Open
that
the damn fanny pack up.
you got to open it's just not. It's not quick on the draw, you know. You're never going to be as quick on the draw with a fanny pack.
Can you hold on a second?
Yeah.
Wait.
You know, I saw this video. It was both horrible and uplifting at the same time, where a guy busted into a church with a shotgun to just try to kill people, and he ended up getting 2 shots off. And then one of the church security team guys there, like an older guy, guy had to be no less than 65 years old, just took the guy out with a headshot. And I was like, wow. And he had a revolver. It was a revolver I'm pretty sure it was a revolver. I could be wrong. It's hard to see on the video. But it was just amazing to see somebody draw that quickly and assess the threat, take care of the threat, save all those people, you know. And if it was a fanny pack, it would have been, I don't know, maybe the guy would have got a 3rd shot off.
Right.
So who knows? But all I know is that it's very difficult to find that perfect carry gun. You know, the gun that's going to be easy to carry, comfortable to carry, and also something that you can be accurate with out to 15, 20 yards.
My buddy, who's a federal marshal, he's Homeland Security, Fed. He told me he likes the old P365. He carries that one a lot. He says that's his favorite carry because it's a pop. It's really easy to get out and get in.
Yeah. If he's talking about the original, I mean, that's a very small gun.
Yeah.
And the problem that I have with like those micro compacts is that, again, I don't feel accurate with them.
Yeah, right.
But this particular 365 I have, like I said, the barrel is longer, the frame is longer, so I get a good purchase on the gun, and it's big enough so that I can shoot it accurately.
And the thing about the concealed, though, too, is the idea that if you were in a situation where you need to pull a concealed weapon, odds are you're shooting at someone that is...
Yeah, they're going to be close.
Yeah, they're going to be close range anyway. It's not like you're freaking... If they're far enough away, you just get the fuck out of there. Right?
You hear stories, though, man, like... There's this one guy that stopped a mall shooting, and I'd have to, maybe I can put the link in the video later,
right,
when I'm editing this up. But
young Jamie,
yeah. But some guy stopped a mall shooting from 40 yards away with I think it was a Glock 19.
Yeah.
Shot at the guy 10 times, hit him 8, and took out the shooter. And the guy came in with an AR-15. I mean, it's very hard to hit something 40 yards away under duress.
Right.
With a very tiny pistol.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I've been really searching and playing with different weapons to try to find that perfect medium.
Yeah, it's fun. You know, for the folks at home that aren't shooters, and I am a novice at best, and I kind of always assumed this, but I never really had. I've only shot like a real gun. Like I had my 357 that I fucked around with like Dirty Harry and shit. But right. But having an actual precision instrument to go shoot with, like my SIG, it's amazing how you don't realize that the 1/4-inch bend here, as it shoots out over the arc, ends up to be 10, 15 feet as you go 20 yards away. So it's like you're aiming here, and because you pulled the trigger a little bit too hard, it caused the barrel to move. Now you've missed by 3 feet on a guy that's trying to kill you.
Oh, yeah.
It's
crazy.
Not, it's not the...
It's a skill.
It's a skill. It is a skill. Like the pushing together.
But, if you practice enough, you'll get good at it. Your basics will be good, and that's really all you can hope for. And
Well, I mean, this is a Jiu Jitsu podcast. So maybe we should, folks at home, we love you. We miss you. Old Man Grappling Hour.
yes, we are back.
We're back. We're back. Slightly older, less high. But my mom will be proud about that. I'm sure she'll be watching.
I was watching a clip of one of our first podcasts.
Man, dude, some of this shit we got
You were talking about how you have disappointing jerk-off sessions.
Make sure mom saw that one. Make sure mom's listening.
That was so funny.
Dude, I went back and watched. We were kind of posting a little bit. If you ever want to go to our website or our Facebook page, you can go watch some of our older, more classic, vintage shit, especially during COVID and some of the things we were doing. Man, that, like, some of our early stuff was just completely nuts. Like, we were insane. It was
We just did, I was actually a little nervous going back and look at some of the stuff, and I was like, "Oh my God, we said that." It's like maybe this shouldn't be on the internet.
Take it down.
And now I feel like I can be a little bit more careful about, especially not being high.
Right.
I can be a little bit more careful about the things I say.
So,
which is probably a good thing, It's a little self-censoring.
One thing that I have been doing a lot lately, and this is per Robbie D'Onofrio's advice. I have been consuming as much. I resisted it as long as I possibly could. I was like, fuck that. Fuck John Danaher. Fuck Gordon Ryan. I don't need them to teach me jiu-jitsu. I know jiu-jitsu. But I have been watching as many BJJ fanatic technique instructional series as I can shove down my throat. And I spend about an hour a day. I just want to stay current with the modern game.
No, it's important. And I'll tell you what, I mean, and I understand because not everybody's a big fan of, the way Gordon conducts himself online.
And I don't even mean it that way. I'm just meant it as far as like, fuck that guy, I know jiu-jitsu. I don't give a fuck about Gordon the person. I really don't. I kind of do sometimes.
Well, for me, so, you've got these guys that are all split off now. And, I've had the fortune to train with Gordon and Tonin, Jones and Nicky Ryan. I've trained with all these guys, and they've all been super sweet.
Never had a problem with any of them.
They've all been amazing to me. They've been so gracious with their time. And I've learned a lot from those guys. I really have. I've learned a lot when they came and did seminars and stuff like that. And it motivated me to when he did release some, Danaher released his leg lock DVD. I picked that up. I picked up Gordon's his passing DVD. And dude, some of the stuff that's in there is just game changing. It really is.
It's weird, and I say this a lot. It's not a whole lot of new material. It's not there are some things in there like, oh wow, that's super cool. Mm-hmm. There's not really a lot of stuff that is like groundbreakingly like amazing new things. There are a few. But most of the shit I've seen before, it's the way that they present it into a system. Mm-hmm. That makes, it's like they say the system, but it takes these things that are considered, these complicated, leg lock entries or guard passing, back takes and all these other things, and they put them in a systematic approach that is very digestible and makes it easier to teach to my students that need to know these things. Because if you're not teaching new jiu-jitsu anymore, you might as well just not be teaching jiu-jitsu because you're going to lose when you compete, or you're not giving your kids. Now, I'm not saying there's two different thought patterns. You can just have a gym where guys just want to go train and have a good time, and I do that as well because fucking 45-year-old men that never want to compete pay your bills. That's you learn that the hard way. And the freaking jiu-jitsu junkies that want to be freaking 80cc jams, their cards decline. You never get paid from them.
Well, it's important, I think, to understand the latest and greatest of what's out there, and to a degree, can you get by, for instance, can you have a gym where nobody teaches leg locks? Yeah, sure, you can, and those people will probably be fine in self-defense situations, right, and even in some competitive situations. But if you're trying to compete at the highest levels, you got to know the latest meta.
Well, it's
of
even
what's
like
going on.
It's annoying and kind of, I don't know. It just goes back to the whole philosophy of like, well, we don't do leg locks here, so don't do leg locks when you come to my gym. And that's not anything against the person that's coming here that had the blue belt that comes in or that knows some heel hooks that's going to wreck all your gym because you don't teach them heel hooks. It means you did not want to spend the time or put the effort in to learn new things. So your student body is now exposed, or now like they find out that they can be exposed by some kid that learns leg locks because you don't want to teach them and you don't want to spend the time to learn.
It is interesting though, because I thought,
or back takes or whatever the new cool shit is. You know, it doesn't even have to be leg locks.
I thought in my head, I was thinking, you know, well, by now in 2022, 2023, like I'm sure all gyms are teaching leg locks.
They're still not.
They're still not.
Still not.
There's still gyms. Dude, I teach leg locks to white belts.
Me too. I teach my teens leg locks.
White belts.
And my teens. And that might bite me in the ass eventually with my teens, but I don't think so. They're made out of rubber and fucking concrete. But it's part of the game.
Yeah.
It's part of the game now. It is.
Yeah. You can't ignore it. I don't know why these gyms are, and it's mostly the gi only gyms that are ignoring it.
Right.
But you know, these guys, and sure, if you only compete in the gi, then yeah, maybe you only need to learn toe holds and ankle locks or knee bars and stuff. But I don't even know that those guys are teaching that.
No, and then there's the whole, I don't know, man. I do gi and I do no gi and I do equal parts of both. And there are parts of my gi game that I'm getting exposed in as my kids go compete in the IBJJF tournaments that I'm starting to realize, okay, cool. I have to go back now and focus on more closed guard stuff because I fucking hate closed guard, but that's what wins. And that's what these kids are doing. Mm-hmm. If you don't know closed guard, guess what? If you don't have kids that are dynamic at playing closed guard, you're not going to have kids that can pass their closed guards because there's no one there that gives them enough competition.
Right.
So I go in and I delve and say, okay, I want to be successful. I want to make my gym viable. So I go learn all these crazy, dumb fucking gi shit that I hate, but I put time in and I study it. The same thing with leg locks. Like there is this whole philosophy about leg locks that if you train leg locks at your gym, you're going to blow everyone's going to get their knees blown out. Everyone's going to get their foot blown out. Here's newsflash, guys. All right. You are way more vulnerable to blowing your ACL doing takedowns than you are doing
I was literally
locks.
just going to say, I've had in the 8 years I've been running a gym, I've had 2 catastrophic ankle injuries.
Yeah, both from wrestling.
Both of them were, not just wrestling, they were overweight guys wrestling.
Yeah.
And in both cases, these guys got their ankles rolled badly to the point where they needed to have surgery on their ankles.
It's just as dangerous.
It's more dangerous.
To get a Kimura or to get an arm bar, but we don't ban those.
Oh, yeah.
And this is like...
And then you get those people that come in, they're like, oh, I just want to learn how to defend leg lock. I want to learn how to do
Well, you're not going to learn that. That ain't how it works. If you don't know how to apply, you don't come in and say, teach me how to not get triangle or how to not get arm bar. You got to learn how an arm bar works.
That's how I counter that argument every time. I say, imagine if I said to you, well, I don't want to learn how to do arm bars.
Right.
I just want to learn how to defend.
I don't want to learn how to wrestle. I just want to learn how to not get taken down.
Yeah.
That's how it fucking works. You got to learn how to do it first and you go back in. But it's these people, they think of leg locks as this like, oh, I don't need to get my leg, bro. It's like, you're not. Because you're going to tap. The same way you tap when you freaking get put in an arm lock. Right? And if you learn how the ashis work and how the different brake mechanics work.
I've never had anybody get injured at the gym with a leg lock.
And I'm going to be honest with you. It goes right back to the owners being lazy. And I hate saying that. I don't want to fucking throw anybody in the bus because I think that most people are catching on now. If you want to have any kind of a successful gym, and you do now because Jiu Jitsu is big time now. You need to know this shit because people are going to come in the room and they're going to be like, oh, you don't teach leg locks? Oh, you don't teach any of the modern game? Cool, I'm going to go down the street to this guy that does. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Like, don't be lazy. There's tons and tons of resources for you to learn these things, to learn how to teach them, to start ticking your little toe in there and figuring it out. Go out there and do your freaking work. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to build the art and get better, and the art is expanding past where it used to be. Figure that shit out, and I'm pissed when people don't because, god damn it, Jiu-Jitsu is important.
Well, you know, it's funny too, because another thing I think is starting to lack, at least from what my students who travel tell me. So I have students that will travel around and they train at different gyms. I don't know why. Maybe if they travel for work, I could see it, but like if I go on vacation, I just went on vacation to Colorado. And let me tell you, the last thing that was on my mind was finding a jiu-jitsu gym to train at.
It's so funny.
Fuck that.
They used to be the only reason I go on a trip. I go on trips now. They're like, hey, you want to go train? I'm like, I don't even want to fucking train at my gym. I want to fucking go train.
I told my
else.
buddy, like, don't even tell anybody that I do jiu-jitsu or that I'm a
fucking
black belt. I don't want to even talk about it.
I live through my students now, and I still, believe me, I still kick around wanting to get back in shape and going out and freaking maybe doing the Orlando Open. They got a Masters division now, the ADCC Orlando Open, are going out and doing the Masters Worlds or a couple IBJJF.
Well, have fun with that.
But it's like, but I'm like, I don't fucking care. Like, I lived that life for so fucking long. I don't give a fuck anymore.
That's the thing.
My students do it.
Why don't I compete now? Because I don't care. It's like, I truly believe that to be a good competitor, you have to have a desire within you, a burn, that you go out there and you want to win. I don't have that.
To be honest with you, I'm getting to the point where I'm a little bit burnt out, even working with my kids and adults that want to be competitors. It's just such a grind, man. It gets tough.
But just to get back what I was saying, some of my students, they go and they travel, and what they've noticed, what they report back to me is that a lot of the gyms out there, a lot of the the no-gi gyms, the gyms that are training and doing the all the current stuff, is that these guys will slap hands and immediately dive for legs. And that's cool and everything, but, my student was telling me that when he puts any kind of pressure on these guys, they break like...
Well, I mean, and that's why you teach leg locks. And that's why if you say, well, I'm an old school jiu-jitsu guy, yeah, that's cool, because I'll be perfectly honest with you. Like, pressure jiu-jitsu still beats all that. Like, if you look at
pressure jiu-jitsu is, in my opinion, it's the number one.
If you look at the way jiu-jitsu evolves over the big picture, all through time, you get all these little things that are little fads. Like, you had deep half guard for a little bit. You had butterfly guard with Marcelo Garcia. All these different things that become like the it thing, right? They all float away. There's still components and pieces and part of jiu-jitsu. Like, deep half guard is still effective in jiu-jitsu, just like leg locks are still very effective in jiu-jitsu. But if you spend your entire time focusing only on leg locks, like, you're not going to succeed.
Something else is going to get thrown to the side.
It all comes back to the template for success, which is climbing that ladder, positional dominance, just like Danaher says. You start standing with the powerful legs, you get a takedown, right? So
like Rob Kahn said it best, when in doubt, smash the head.
That's it, man. Get around the legs, pass the guard, get to the mount, get to the back. My ability to attack increases as your ability to defend decreases. It's the nature of the beast, even from self-defense all the way up. And I don't know, man. I just don't understand why guys are so adverse to not wanting to deal with any guys. Like, leg locks are the devil. I don't think it's as big, but I still think there's still a part.
Like we said earlier, I do think there is a faction of schools out there, a small faction.
Right.
But there is a faction of schools out there, because I still get people, because where my gym is located, it's a pretty big vacation area. People come to Bradenton, Sarasota area all the time to just, when they come to Florida and they want a place to train. And we get a lot of people who come and visit and train. And every once in a while, we'll get somebody in and they're just like, oh yeah, we don't do leg locks at my gym. So I'll show them.
Nothing?
I'll show them some stuff, I'll show them, hey, here's a couple things, start with this, and and they appreciate it. But yeah, it's interesting, because most of the guys that come in and to visit, they do train leg locks, and they're usually very good, and it's always a fun role, and you feel like it's almost like you've trained with this person before, because everyone's game is sort of the same now, But then every once in a while...
The game is... There was a hot minute when leg locks was the thing. That was it. It's still a very big part of high-level jiu-jitsu. But it's not everything. It's not at all. It's a component of the whole. And pressure jiu-jitsu is still... Look at Gordon Ryan. Gordon Ryan he hits leg locks when he gets bored. But his whole game is to sweep you, get on top of you, pass the guard, get to the mount, eventually...
Does he have anything coming up?
He's still sick.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, I think he's kind of on the mend. What did I see the other day? Did he have any kind of a timetable for a return? I mean, he's got his he's got the super fight with.
I know there's no shortage of guys that are lined up to fight him.
Nobody's even gonna come close. He's such a freaking monster.
I'll tell you what, though, I thought it was very interesting his matches with Nicky Rod.
Oh, Nicky broke his foot.
But it doesn't seem like there's going to be a rematch anytime soon.
No, Nicky broke his foot. Nicky had that toe. He even says it, and it's funny when you watch Gordon's new. It's just funny listening to the mind of Gordon Ryan, because he's a very, very intelligent, very, very actually kind of well-adjusted person, to be honest with you, when you talk to him, when you watch him and you meet him in person. But he still has those little twinges of like, bzz, bzz, bzz. Like you talked about 50-50, the 50-50 section in his last leg lock instructional. And when he starts talking about the toe hold from 50-50, like every time a toe hold came up, like he made sure to say, toe holds come on stronger and they're a lot quicker submission. And if you put yourself in a bad position, especially like 50-50, and he never really said Nicky Ryan or Nicky Rod to his name, but everyone read between the lines. Oh yeah, kind of like when Nicky Rod broke your foot in that last UFC fight pass.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm a big fan of 50-50. Actually, my two favorite leg entanglement positions are 50-50 and reverse ashigarami. And the reason why is because not everyone plays those positions. More and more people are playing 50-50 now. But reverse ashigarami is still not popular at all.
I never liked 50-50, and I never liked the double outside 50-50, or double outside ashi. And the more and more I delve into the leg lock world, the more and more I realize why those positions are effective with art, because you get a double wedge. When you're in that 50-50 position, you have such a tight break and such a tight wedge on the inside of the leg because the leg is going across. So you have such a tight little break. And you're locked in there tighter because now you're locked into a triangle across the top at the same time. Cross ashi.
If you have more ideas... If you have more ideas in the 50-50 position, the chances of you coming out on top are pretty good.
Right.
And it's like that with most leg locks, but everybody's studying the honey hole, everyone's studying ashi, inside ashi, outside ashi. And if you get away from that a little bit and you try out some of these other leg positions, you can be a lot more successful with
backside
guys.
50-50 is my big one in these days.
Okay.
That's the one all the big kids are running with.
Yeah.
But it's almost like the inside heel, double inside is almost blasé now. It's almost like forgotten thought. Nobody plays.
Which one?
The honey hole is a tough one. People aren't even getting the honey hole anymore.
Well, yeah, it's going to be hard. Like I said, everybody plays it.
You don't have as much control. You don't have as much control of the leg.
Everybody knows how to escape it. Everybody knows how to enter into it.
Right.
And so it's just becoming harder and harder to do. People are still using it.
Right. No, it's not happening. Craig Jones will inside heel hook the fuck out of me.
Right. I just think it's harder now to, with positions like that to be effective. So I like to play these positions that are sort of off the grid. And then people don't even know what to do. They're just like, what am I in?
Right.
And, and that for me is reverse ashigarami and 50-50.
Reverse ashigarami. Talk to me about reverse ashigarami. What are we doing there?
I actually enter into it from a few different places.
Is that the same as the backside 50-50, or is that a little different?
No, it's different. I enter into it from when my back gets taken. In fact, sometimes I'll give up back control,
right,
so I can enter into reverse ashigarami.
Right.
And there's some other entries into it as well. You can enter into it when you're going to pass someone's butterfly guard by stepping in the middle, and say if I step in with my right foot, throw my right foot under their left leg, and then also back step, but then catch their right leg with my arm and lay on my side. I would be in reverse ashigarami at that point.
You're gonna have to show me some of
that. Yeah, I'll have to show you. And you got knee bars, toe holds, heel hooks.
Yeah, you're gonna have to show me that.
Good.
Because now I'm intrigued by.
Yeah.
I'm using the lingo, the vernacular, to try to figure out where reverse ashigarami.
I'll bet you've seen it.
I'm sure I have. Yeah.
But I'm probably just not doing a good job of describing.
But they also have a million different names, so it could be something. It could be called, right. The cool kids probably could call it something else.
Yeah, who knows?
What about Herbert Santos?
Who?
Herbert Santos. You didn't see anything about that? You're not on Instagram as much, are you? Facebook anymore. Herbert Santos is the former world champion, IBJJF world champion. He was on that Fight Stars.
know the name.
He's the guy he's a crazy person. Like he got in fights and he got in a brawl with Felipe Pena or somebody, Felipe blah 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 in Brazil on a Fight Stars card or Jit Stars card or whatever. Anyway, he got arrested for like multiple rapes and burglary down in Brazil recently. He's a nice guy. It's just
so with more and more people doing jiu-jitsu, and I know Urbith has been doing it for a long time, so it doesn't, but with more and more people doing jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of cunts out there.
right.
A lot of cunts.
But there's a lot of cunts in a lot of things.
Right. And now that jiu-jitsu has become so popular, a lot of those cunts are going to be training jiu-jitsu.
Right.
We just had a guy down in Sarasota. Killed himself.
Yeah.
Because the cops were after him for banging
a
a
14-year-old.
student. Yeah, underage student. And when they went to go serve a warrant on him, he did a standoff and then went into his garage, sat in his car, and blew his own head off, which is honestly the best thing that could have happened to him because, he was a pedo, right? And we don't like pedos. But, it's just, it amazes me and it also saddens me when I keep hearing about these stories that come out, jiu-jitsu coaches or jiu-jitsu black belts, doing rapes or pedophilia, any of that stuff. And it just really, it's really sad and it's a stain on what we do. But unfortunately, I think because jiu-jitsu has become so popular, it's become this mainstream martial art, there's no, how do you vet people?
Right.
You can't, how do you vet students? Start doing background checks on students before you train them? It's kind of unrealistic. So unfortunately, they're just going to have to get found out.
And it's, I hate saying this, and this is, first of all, parents beware, always beware. And I hate to have to be the one to say this, but always, always, always follow proper protocols on both sides, as a coach and as a parent.
Well, I'll tell you one thing
if anything seems suspicious, even if it's not, draw a line in the sand.
If I have a private lesson, in fact, I have a private lesson scheduled with one of my female students coming up soon. And I always tell them, bring someone.
Right.
I want someone else there. It needs to be a third. I do this with all my privates anyway. I always want a third person there so I can show the move on someone else. But I always make sure that if it's a female student, there's another female in the room. And if there's a kid student, I'm always making sure that there's a parent in the room. Because I never, ever will put myself in a situation where I'm alone in a room with a child or a female.
Yeah, I have to get better
because, look, it's just self-protection.
Yeah.
It's protection all around, right? It's protection for them, protection for me. Because what if this person decides they just want to say, I did X?
Right.
And, well, if there's someone there, then,
the accusation is all that counts.
Right, exactly.
The court of public opinion will be,
Right.
It only takes one accusation to go public.
But for me, the real reason why I do it is just to make everyone feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do a jiu-jitsu private with a child or a female by myself, and then have there be any kind of feelings of discomfort. At least when I bring someone in, like for the girl I'm going to do the private with, there'll be another girl in the room, and hey, these two are going to be friends. They're friends. They're actually close friends, and so she's going to have an excellent lesson. And she's going to get to have her friend be there. And there's not going to be any question about any improprieties or anything like that because of bringing someone else into the room. So just that little simple fact would prevent so many situations.
What do you say, because this comes up a lot, what do you say when people say that these bad apples or these, unsavory practicers or owners or gym owners or proprietors or whatever are ruining the good name of jiu-jitsu?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I hear things like that. I hear people that jump on that pedestal. I just think that,
Jiu-Jitsu will survive.
So Jiu-Jitsu is going to survive.
Your school might not.
Yeah, that's kind of the point, right?
Right.
You know, if you're successful, like you're not going to be doing this shit. You know, and if you're not, and you're a predator or whatever, like, you know, like it's just, you know, it's unfortunate, but it doesn't necessarily mean that now the whole idea of jiu-jitsu, it's just unfortunate that's happened for so long. And I think that I don't know, it's hard. You know, what's the old phrase? Like, just because you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu doesn't mean you're a black belt in life.
I don't know that there's a phrase, but I definitely understand that. And you know, it's
I
funny.
mean, I just coined that phrase, by the way. Write that down.
When I first started back in 2007, when I started training, we had a coach. This guy, I'm not even going to say his name. The guy's a douchebag, but he's one of those guys that would like, hey man, like, what do you say you come over and pave my driveway and I'll give you a free private lesson?
Dude.
It's like, bro, what?
I have to fight the urge to be a scumbag.
And some of those guys would do it.
I know.
They would, yeah, that's a great deal. What?
I know.
What?
I know.
You know, or it's like, yeah, let me
I have to fight that urge sometimes to...
Or, you know, my coach is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, which means he must be smart at everything.
To be honest with you, I'd rather pay than teach private lessons anymore. I'm so over teaching private lessons. I teach some.
Don't think that because we know how to bend arms the wrong way that we are all of a sudden great at like finance. That I know how to put a cabinet together.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I just studied jiu-jitsu for a long time.
I know two things. I know a few things. You know, because of my background before I started training, but you know, these days I can answer questions about how to run a small business, and you know, I can answer questions about jiu-jitsu. But you know, don't ask me things like, you know, I don't know, how to fly a plane.
Yeah,
even though I took flight lessons, I'm not the guy. I'm really not the guy.
I hate seeing things like this, but it's not. There's no difference in any endeavor. There's going to be bad people that do everything. There's bad people that are CEOs of companies. There are bad people that play baseball. There are bad people that play football.
There's guys that build fake submarines and try to go down and look at the Titanic.
Yeah, right. You know? Exactly. Kill their whole fucking family. Fucking retards. Sorry, I can't say that. Sorry.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you do that?
Why would you want to do that?
A PlayStation controller.
Bro, if somebody said to me, hey, Sonny, how would you like to go view the wreckage of the Titanic? It's like, fucking no. No, thank you.
Dude, there was so many people, too. I watched a little bit of that. I was listening to reading some articles and stuff on that. And like there's some of the stories about one of the kids that was like, Dad, I didn't want to do this. And he did it because it was Father's Day or something, or the dad's birthday.
Said something like that. Yeah, I don't know how true that is, but I heard that same thing. I don't know, man. Why would you do something like that? I don't understand these thrill-seeking, adventure-seeking people.
I'm good.
You know?
I'm good. I mean, I'm good.
Like,
I don't need that in my life.
I don't need to jump out of a plane.
No, I'm good.
To feel adventure.
I'm good. I'm cool. I'm good. Watch a little TV.
Although it would be fun to do a podcast as we're falling to the earth, wouldn't it?
That would be pretty.
Old Man Grappling Hour.
We have the clip on. Want
to know the real reason why I won't do the jumping out of a plane thing? Because the first few times that you do your jumps, there's going to be a dude tethered to your back, and I don't let people on my back.
No, never.
Jiu-jitsu.
No, no one's on my back.
Yeah,
I can't do
If I could be on his back, that'd be
if I do the other way
go
around,
for the choke, you know.
Right,
but
if I need to.
No, I'm not going to put myself in a bad position on purpose like that.
I'd rather crash to the earth and die than let some fucking weirdo with some white belt tap me unconscious. You kidding me? Just take me the way God intended.
But that's the deal, man. In order to jump out of a plane, you got to let a white belt on your back.
Well, I mean, and think about what the thrill is of jumping out of a plane. You don't jump out of a plane because it's fun to jump out of a plane. You jump out of the plane because you get the thrill of the worry and the concern and the anxiety that comes from the thought of possibly crashing to the earth and dying. You know, like I'm good.
I'm solid.
I'm solid. I don't need that. I'm all right. Cool.
Don't need it.
I'm cool. I don't need that much juice.
These guys, they put on the wingsuits and they jump off a cliff and fly around.
Do parkour on like these big buildings and.
I'm all set.
Good.
I'll never understand the thrill seeker, adventure seeker. Not me.
Happy guy.
Yeah.
Don't need that shit.
You'll never see me in a Red Bull video.
Long story short, guys, just watch out for fucking jiu-jitsu assholes. There are some out there, and don't think that just because someone is a black belt that they are of a high moral quality, because they're not always.
Yeah.
Be careful who you bring your kids to. Be careful who you put yourself in positions with, and be careful who.
And it sucks that we have to sit here and put this disclaimer out. It sucks that we have to say it, but it's true.
But it's true of so many things.
know?
It's not just jiu-jitsu. It's just life in general. When I work with kids now and I'm in that environment, I start to see it more obviously. I start to see more parents that are just so freaking. I guess it's hard to be a parent. I'm not a parent, so I can't judge anybody. But pay attention to that shit. Do your homework. Do your research. I don't know. You think it's been an hour?
Yeah, I think it has. What's the name of your gym, Kevin?
Oh, yeah. By the way, I think it's Gracie Trinity. I believe we are on 54 and Gun Highway in the Trinity area, Odessa, Starkey Ranch area, if anyone is interested.
I run Gracie Bradenton here in beautiful Bradenton, Florida.
About a block away.
Yeah, not even.
Not even.
And come down, come visit.
Yeah, we love you. It's been a good time, Sonny. It is nice to get back with you.
Yes, sir.
I miss you.
Hopefully we can do a few more of these, and
I think we'll try to get back into our weekly run.
Yeah, maybe we'll do like an anniversary episode where we smoke weed or something.
Maybe we see it.
It would be really funny because I haven't smoked weed in a long time.
It would just be us
and I would
staring at the camera, eating.
Well, yeah. Till next time.
See you guys. Good night.